Hello students, our today's chapter is French Revolution, class 9, first chapter, history of your NCERT books. Before starting with the topic, one very important thing to notice in this heading is the word revolution. Whenever we hear this word revolution, we being Indians think about the revolution which was held in our country to gain its independence, and throughout the world. We have seen examples that the country, the people have fought for their independence, for their rights, for their dignity in their own country, which led to revolution, and these revolutions have become legends, have become examples for the future generations of the world that if the people are not satisfied with what is running, then they can fight against it no matter how powerful the authorities or the dictator or the power which is ruling over them. So, to start this chapter, French Revolution, if we look at our NCERT books, a very strong incident is explained at the beginning of this chapter, which is the storming of Bastille. In this incident, which occurred on 14th July 1789 in the city of Paris, a small group of the population stormed into the fortress prison of Bastille, where they conquered the place, they took power over the place, and they, with this storming, proved to the autocratic power, to the dictator, to the autocratic power ruling in their country that they are not satisfied with what is right. So, let's start this chapter with the basic steps or the primary conditions which led to this great revolution in the history of the world. French society in the years of late 18th century was a very typical kind of society. What's typical in the society was the formation, the rules and regulations running in the society, the economic system which prevailed at that time, the social structure which was rigid and was totally unaccepted by the people, the supremacy of the clergy class. So the conditions were in a chaotic state. So let's give a beginning to this great revolution. The French society at this time was divided into different segments. During the late 18th century, the ruler of France was Louis XVI. He was crowned at the age of 20 in 1774, and he got married to the Austrian princess Marie Antoinette. The society at this time was divided into majorly three estates. This division of the society was on the basis of the old regime or the old system of social division. We can explain these three estates with the help of a flowchart. The first estate belonged to the clergy or the clergy class. This was the people who were engaged in special functions of the church or the people who were related with church and its duties. The second estate belonged to the nobilities. The nobilities were the people belonging to The ruling class, the feudal lords, the king, the dukes, the big landlords, the people engaged in the ministerial work or with the king were involved in nobility. The third and the lowest level of this social division was of the common people. In this social division, a very interesting thing to notice here is that the first and the second estate, that is the clergies and the nobles, enjoyed most of the privileges, and these privileges were given to them by birth. And to add to those perks, they were exempted from paying taxes. On the other hand, the third estate, that belonged to peoples like peasants, merchants, laborers, or the common people, they comprised of around 90% of the total population, and they had to pay the taxes which was later on used for the luxuries of the first and the second estate, and very less was paid for the benefit of those who actually paid taxes. So overall we can say that the society was not satisfied with the social division, with the rigidness and inflexibility of the social criteria, which was resulting into one section paying for all the expenses and the other section just sitting and enjoying the luxuries. These differences brought anger in the minds of the people, and like it happened in almost all of the revolution, any revolution or a movement requires a burning fire which helps the spark to explode at the end. So these were the social conditions. Moving on to economic conditions. As it was an era of continuous battles and wars, France, being a very powerful and big nation, was also continuously engaged in wars. These continuous wars affected into a drain of wealth from outside the nation. And to add to this burden, the king, the royal family, did not cut down on their expenses in spite of all these expenditures. The royal family, the king, maintained a very extravagant life. They did not cut down on their luxuries. They enjoyed the full facilities and luxuries. Already they were imposing taxes on the third estate. The most popular taxes were tithe and tail. It was the tax which was imposed by the church, and it comprised of one tenth of the complete agricultural produce. And tail, which was levied on articles like salt or tobacco. A very significant condition was that France at that time helped around 13 American colonies to attain freedom. And in this effort, a lot of debt was taken from the money lenders, and these money lenders were now charging the interest of 10% on loans, which increased the monetary burden on the nation. And later on, to combat these debts, the French government, finding no other way out, increased the taxes on the people, and this tremendous increase in taxes hit the third estate the worst. In these disastrous conditions, one more addition was to happen which helped in building the pressure which was beginning to rise up in the population of France. That was the increase in population, and with the increase in population, a struggle to survive was witnessed, because with the increase in the population, the amount of production did not increase, and this led to a rise in the prices of food products with the increase in demand and a short supply. The prices, yes, they did increase, but the income of the workers did not. So, in these conditions, the people were facing the subsistence crisis, and this condition added into the anger of the people.